In the words of Charlie Pellet, here we go. The 2022-23 high school basketball season is upon us. And as usual, we come to you from St. Thomas Academy in Mendota Heights, the Schoberg Flynn Arena, for the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off. We've got 4 games coming your way from Court 1, starting with Holy Family Catholic and Dowling Catholic from Iowa. Greetings, everyone. I'm Mike Peden. My partner, Jason Sandifer, will join us in a moment or two. Holy Family Catholic made quite the scene last year when they pulled off that upset win over Minnetonka in last year's MLK Fury Classic. They have a chance to make it to state with the likes of Jocelyn Land and Berkeley Neibauer. They surprised a lot of people last year, and even though they are underdogs to Providence Academy in 5-2A, that pedigree is still there, and they'll get a good test against one of the perennials from the state of Iowa in Dowling Catholic. You may remember them as the school where Caitlin Clark attended before she became a household name at the University of Iowa. They have a lot of multi-sport athletes, and they have quite the playmaker in Ava Zediker, who plays on the All-Iowa Attack AAU program, one of the best in the country. If you haven't seen their facility, go check it out. Dowling, one of the annual participants from outside the state of Minnesota, and with Caitlin Clark, they rode high. They're hoping to find the next Caitlin Clark, but needless to say, what she has done for the school and the state of Iowa has galvanized the sport of women's basketball in the Hawkeye State. We've set the scene. We'll play it out when we return. You're watching the Twin Cities Thanksgiving Tip-Off. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. James, she's in trouble. Finds James, toss shot, it goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. Let's put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching. And we welcome you back to Schoberg Flynn Arena at St. Thomas Academy. I'm Mike Peden, and my partner, Jason Sandifer, no stranger to this place. As I understand it, I believe your team took part in this Twin Cities tip-off last year.
We did. We took part of this Twin Cities tip-off. It's a great tournament. I think it's a great opportunity for these young ladies, especially to play teams from out of town like Dowling here, but it's a great opportunity for the young ladies, and we enjoyed it.
And it's the opening act for everyone here. Dowling Catholic and Holy Family Catholic starting their seasons today. And Jason, you're probably going to hear me say this. You might get tired of it over the next couple of games. But it's worth reminding people, what you see today is going to look nothing like what you see in February and March.
I would agree with you, Mike. This is definitely the dress rehearsal.
You did have a chance, though, to see these teams watching film for previous games because we haven't had any new games yet. Who are you looking forward to most?
You know what? I really like Dowling, number 13, Ava. I think she is a talented guard, and I think she could really cause some problems for Holy Family today.
Well, Holy Family can certainly cause problems. We mentioned Berkeley Neibauer, Jocelyn Land, and Sophi Hall. Those were two of the haymakers for Holy Family.
Yeah, I think the key for Holy Family today is really stopping the Dowling guards from getting out in transition, because I think that's where Dowling's going to really have an opportunity to kind of put some separation between themselves and Holy Family is in the transition. So if they can stop their transition game, I think they'll put themselves in a good position to win, Mike.
Holy Family got everyone's attention when they beat Minnetonka last year at the MLK Fury Classic double overtime victory. And as we stated in the open, they have to get past Providence. That will be a tall order considering how loaded that team is, but Holy Family certainly has the pieces to do it. Let's recap the starters for you for the Holy Family Catholic Fire. It's Jocelyn Land, Berkeley Neibauer, Sophie Zay, Elin Miller, and Sophia Hall. Dowling will start Ellie Olson, Ava Zediker, Layla Tritton, Julia Moore, and Lauren Frericks. And Jason, I don't know if you had to go against her yourself, but Zediker, part of that all Iowa attack pipeline. If you haven't seen their facility, it is one of the most prestigious in AAU club basketball.
It definitely is, Mike. I had one of my daughters who played there years ago, and I was really impressed. It'd be nice to bring something like that to here to Minnesota.
Well, give it time. We've been building our profile the last few years.
We have. no
We've got a couple
that.
we've got a couple of high-level D1 prospects in this year's class. Tessa Johnson and Nuno Aguera, Taylor Woodson. We're underway. Dowling Catholic wearing the white, Holy Family Catholic wearing the green. And a traveling violation. Holy Family Catholic based in Victoria. They'll be playing in another invitational. Actually, they'll be at the MLK Fury Classic again. And they also have Crosby Ironton on the schedule. You may know Crosby Ironton, where Tori Erline goes to school. And Jocelyn Land wasting little time asserting herself.
Very good basket cut there, Mike.
Dowling on the kick out, baseline jumper. And a friendly bounce for Julia Moore. An extra dose of friendly on that one. Land, the kick out, 3 on the way. Neibauer couldn't connect. Zediker. Almost went coast to coast. Couldn't get the finish, though, and there's Sophi Hall.
And that's where Dowling's going to have a chance to, like I said, put some separation between themselves and Holy Family is in this transition. If they can get it going in transition here, Holy Family could be in trouble.
Fredericks couldn't connect on the transition 3. Now the Fire look to take it down court. And Jocelyn Land puts back her own miss. Jason, I bet that was scripted. She had that in her playbook all summer long, didn't she?
You better believe it.
I know that's what you did when you were a player
Yeah.
back in your St. Agnes days, if I recall.
St. Agnes.
St.
that is
Agnes.
correct, yep.
There's
Good
Ava
try.
Zediker. And that speed and agility you were speaking of, it's not just good in transition. For someone like Zediker, she can run in on sets too.
Yeah, that's where Holy Family has to buckle down, and they have to stop that perimeter game of Dowling.
Sophie Zay couldn't quite get the bounce, and Dowling will take it up court again. Look who it is. It's Zediker. Jump ball.
And so far, Mike, Holy Family is not doing a good job of stopping transition, but we'll see how this game proceeds here.
They haven't. Dowling struggling a little bit to finish those transition plays.
They are, but you give them time, you give them enough attempts, they're going to put that ball in the bucket, Mike.
Right, and as we were talking about this morning beforehand, this is only game 1. Once teams shake off that rust, look out. Dowling, one of 2 Iowa teams making the trek up today. Bishop Garrigan will play Hopkins later. Bishop Garrigan, of course, where Audi Crooks goes to school. They won their first ever state title last year. Holy Family, some nice cutting there, will lead to free throws for Berkeley Neibauer.
And for Holy Family, Mike, execution in the half court is going to be key for them today.
Teams first.
Neibauer to the line, plays in the Crossfire AAU program. Splits at the line.
Now we get an opportunity to look at Dowling in the half court, Mike, and see what they can do here.
And Zediker, well, when I think of all Iowa attack, Journey Houston has really come on strong. Another young prodigy, Divine Barrage. Ava Zediker certainly in the mix. And then this past year, KK Arnold played for the 2023 All-Iowa attack team. She's going to UConn from Germantown, Wisconsin, and there's Ava Zediker, who works her way to the line. She really leads the way when it comes to that blistering speed for Dowling Catholic.
She does, and she makes this team go, Mike. Without her, they struggle a little bit in transition from what I've seen from last year. They struggle a little bit, but if she can get it going, Holy Family better watch out.
Zediker knocks down both free throws.
And the one thing I like about Ava, Mike, is she has a motor. She just continues to go and go and go. Whether it's on offense or defense, she never stops moving.
Holy Family looking for a hole. They get one, and free throws coming for Jocelyn Land. Land and Hall, as we said, the two most dynamic playmakers for Holy Family Catholic.
First, team second. At the line for the fire, Jocelyn Land, G2.
Land knocks down the front end. Last season averaged 19 points, 9.7 rebounds per game.
Pretty impressive numbers.
And she will be attending Butler. Verbal commitment, she's a junior. So got to wait a couple of years before she heads to, I think it's Big East. Yeah, Butler's in the Big East now.
Big East, yep.
And Sophi Hall is also headed to the Big East. She will play for Providence next year. (7-6) the score in favor of the Fire. Step back jumper doesn't drop for number 11, Marin Heller.
Good move. Good block.
Dead ball rebound to Holy Family Catholic. 14:05 left in the first half. This is Sophia Hall. Oh, she got hit in the face. And Ava Zediker on the run again. Jason, you were saying if Dowling Catholic can continue this transition game unabated, they could pose a problem. And if Ava Zediker's last play is an indication, they may have shaken off that proverbial rust.
I think she has.
That could spell trouble for Holy Family Catholic. Located in Victoria. That Crosby-Ironton game, that one I'm excited. It won't be until February, but Holy Family against Tori Erline, the fastest kid to 1,000 points, 40 games. I don't know how many points you scored, but I'm guessing it took you more than 40 to get there.
It took me more than 40. There's no doubt.
Julia Moore says, I'm not the, or I should say, I can drive too. Ava's not the only one who can slice to the lane. Holy Family's looking for the answer, and Sophie Zay will shoot free throws. But the last couple of plays, Jason, we've seen Dowling Catholic work that agility to full effect.
Yeah, they got to continue. They got to continue penetrating, getting to the bucket, Mike. I think that's where they're going to really make a difference here.
Zay missing the front end, and you know this, Jason, being the head coach at St. Agnes now. This is the final year without a shot clock.
It is, and we're trying to prepare our girls right now for that 30-second shot clock, and I think it's actually going to help the game.
And invitationals like this one, we'll have a shot clock next year. Look at Zediker go. Iowa is the future birthplace of James T. Kirk, and I wonder if Zediker took one of his commands to heart as far as going warp speed to the bucket, because she's been doing that throughout this first half.
She is quick, and she is shifty, Mike. I don't think we're going to see her come out of the game much either, Mike. I think she may end up playing the entire game.
As long as she avoids foul trouble, I think she's got that motor. Remember, at all Iowa attack,
yeah,
they're serious about their basketball.
That they are. And we're seeing a little more of an aggressive press here from Dowling.
It's Zediker leading that press. And that's enough to get Holy Family Catholic to take a timeout. And I'm not as well versed in alumni as far as high schools go in Iowa, but when you look at all Iowa attack, Jada Jimfy, Hannah Stolke, I think both went to Iowa. Caitlin Clark, part of that unit. Ava Zediker, I mentioned Journey Houston, Divine Barrage earlier. And just up and down the line, they've got athletes.
Yeah, they've got some good players that have come out of there, Mike.
So 11-7 is the score. Part of our kickoff weekend. And you were saying the shot clock, the Lake Conference is adopting it. This Invitational will use it next year because we play Minnesota rules, of course. Given what happened in recent years, you might recall Hopkins Shakopee, the 4 overtime marathon, where Shakopee played stall ball, or that Marshall Waseca section game. We'll have to see how the shot clock ultimately affects teams, but I'm grateful that we won't have to sit through elongated stretches of stall ball. It's within the rules, so I'm not going to rip on teams for doing it, but I think most fans would tell you it's not necessarily in the spirit of the game these days.
I would agree with you, Mike. It's definitely going to pick up the speed of the game. I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for the high school players to transition into it. I think we're going to see a dip in actually points scored per game, but I think once they get used to it, 2 or 3 years into it, you're going to see that points per game probably go up.
I think it would benefit teams that play a quick pace. Schools like Hopkins, Providence Academy, Holy Angels, Como Park, they typically don't take more than 35 seconds to run a set anyway. The schools that play more deliberately, a little more patience, I think that's going to be where the growing pains are.
Yeah, and you may see a little less motion offense and a little more isolation like we see in boys basketball, but I think it's going to help high school basketball as a whole.
And what you described, even the NBA went through that the first year. They put in a shot clock. There were teams that were hurrying to throw the ball up. Remember, its first 10 years or so of existence, they had no shot clock.
Yeah.
Dowling Catholic doesn't need one, though.
And really one of the keys to beating the shot clock, or playing with the shot clock, I should say, Mike, is getting that ball into the front court early. You don't want to take too much time in the back court. You want to get it in the front court early so that gives you time to efficiently run your offense.
3 on the way for Holy Family Catholic. Comes up short, and a dead ball rebound. College athletes, we mentioned Land and Hall. Hall will play with the shot clock next year, and of course, Land will as well, but it's going to be an exciting time. I know the Hamlin tip-off event has used a shot clock for the last several years. 3 on the way. Dowling Catholic leads 13-7.
And I don't think it's going to be an extremely difficult transition for the high school players. I do think it's going to take some time, though, Mike, but I don't think it's going to be extremely difficult with the evolution of basketball and the way that teams are playing now. They speed the pace up. They speed the game up. So I don't think it's going to be that difficult of a transition, but I think it will take them time to settle in and get comfortable with it.
Marin Heller connected on the elbow jumper. 15-7. Dowling Catholic building a run. This is Land. She drew 4 bodies around her. Right idea to spot up Elin Miller, but then she got rejected.
That was a pretty nice block.
That was a nice block, but Alex Gaskell didn't see the pass coming and turns it right back over to Holy Family Catholic, and now we've got a little hot potato action going on. It's a good thing I'm not part of it, or I would have dropped the ball a long time ago. And Marin Heller, I think, she took a bit of a hit there, walking gingerly back. I suppose the officials don't mind a timeout, though.
No.
I think I know I need to catch my breath if I were out there.
At this fast pace, I'm sure they don't mind.
There's Zediker on the left corner, sees an opening along the baseline, and will shoot 2.
Wow, she's fast. That first step is pretty amazing.
You probably are all too familiar with the saying, speed kills. Whether it's one of your players at St. Agnes or one of your former players with the Minnesota Lakers, or sometimes having to stop your opponents.
Yeah, difficult.
St. Agnes, they're in the Skyline Conference now, if I'm correct.
We are in the Skyline. That is correct.
Yeah, you got to deal with St. Croix Lutheran and that litany of sharpshooters.
Yes. Yes, and that's a tough matchup for any team.
Zediker, she's up to 9 points, and she could add to it after the steal. Once again, leading that pressure. And a nice response from Holy Family Catholic, Jocelyn Land with the block. Jason, you weren't kidding when you said Zediker is one to watch. If Holy Family Catholic doesn't pick up on her tendencies, she could make it a long day for them.
Yeah, like I said, Mike, she just has that motor that she just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And she also knows where to be on the floor. She has this knack for the ball, and she just knows where to be.
Zediker will shoot 2. Once again, that first step netting her an opportunity to add to her total. Also participates on the track team at Dowling Catholic and has multiple college offers already. And even though I joked with Kristen Meyer and the others about who the next Caitlin Clark might be, considering what she did for Dowling and what she's doing at Iowa, there will be no next Caitlin Clark. And I don't think Zediker or anyone else would want to be like Caitlin. Be yourself and things will fall into place. But I'll tell you what, even if there is no next Caitlin Clark, Ava Zediker could be one of those next big names to come out of the Hawkeye State.
She is blazing her own trail, Mike.
Zediker, we're going to see Audi Crooks later today.
Very good move.
Good move. Sophia Hall, though, came up short on the runner.
Gotta
and
finish.
Look who's got the rebound.
And out and running they are.
Holy Family looking to push. And drawing the foul is Jocelyn Land. Julia Moore couldn't catch up in time. 9:52 left in the first half. Dowling Catholic up 18-7. They've been on a roll over the last several minutes, led by the speedy, swift Zediker. Land with the penetration.
That was a good, strong move, Mike. I like that. Didn't try to avoid contact, went right up in her face and finished the play.
Well, you look at someone like Jocelyn Land, she's got the frame to take a hit or two. And Holy Family Catholic forces Dowling into a traveling violation. This is the spark they could be looking for.
See how they handle this press, Mike. Not much of a press here, not real aggressive.
Brandon Antle, the head coach of Holy Family Catholic. Kristen Meyer, the longtime head coach for Dowling Catholic. Land weaves through traffic, a little too strong. Rebound, Ellie Muller.
And here's Dowling out in transition again.
Ava Zediker. That's all you need to say. I don't need to describe anything she does. Just say her name. You know she's going to do something good.
She is, Mike. She is tough to stop.
Multiple college offers. I wouldn't be surprised if she is like Madden Greenway, who got offered by just about every school in the Big Ten. I wouldn't be surprised if Zediker inbox is flooded with invitational letters.
I'm sure it is. I wouldn't mind seeing her in the maroon and gold, though, Mike.
She completes the three-point play. Now, there's several maroon and gold schools out there. You know, USC, I'm sure would like to have her. I think I know which one you're talking about, though. They're a little bit closer to town.
A little closer to home.
Although they're, what's that going to be like 2 years from now? USC, Minnesota are going to be Big Ten rivals? I never thought I'd see the day.
Neither did I, Mike.
Timeout. 21-9. Holy Family Catholic calling timeout. So, Jason, it's been a while since we've last called a game together, so I'm curious. Do you still like to read in your free time?
I do, Mike. I still love to read.
I'm trying to convince him to take over for Reading Rainbow when LeVar Burton decides to retire. I don't know how that's going.
It's in the works. We'll just say it's in the works.
8:56 to go. And how have things for you been at St. Agnes? I'm guessing coaching high school players is a little different than semi-pro.
It is. It is. And I tell you what, though, Mike, it's probably not as challenging because when you're dealing with semi-pro players, you're talking about guys who have played Division I. We had a guy who's played in the G League as well. It's not as easy, I will say, to give them instruction as it is the high school girls. You give them instruction, they go out and do it. Where the guys, not so much. So it's not as challenging coaching high school girls.
I'll tell you what, though, I think that was the closest I ever had to a front row seat as a broadcaster, doing all those Lakers games.
Yeah, you were right there. Yeah, we appreciate
Ava
it.
Zediker's right there, follows her own miss. Even though she didn't score, that's another play that makes Zediker so lethal.
It does.
That
it
quick
really
cut.
Does. And if she keeps penetrating the way she is, they're gonna start to play off or something. You give her a little space, and that's gonna open up her jump shot.
Well, she will inbound the ball here. I've got Zediker at 13 already, outscoring Holy Family Catholic. Now she looks to play facilitator. The three rattles out. If you're wondering why I'm joking about my perspective for those Lakers games, they played at the High School for Recording Arts. It's a really small gym. They don't have any permanent bleachers, so you get in where you fit in. So we were set up right alongside,
right
alongside the sideline.
Yeah.
I'm surprised my head didn't get cut off.
Or at least hit with a ball.
That's what I mean. Oh, those athletes, though, they play hard.
Oh, yeah.
We have an injury timeout. Jocelyn Land took a hit, is slowly walking back. You hope it's something along the lines of getting the wind knocked out. I don't see anything.
The way she's walking, though, I think it might be an ankle or maybe a knee.
Right, she's holding her head. I didn't see what happened. And Land was the straw that stirred Holy Family's drink in the opening minutes. She has 8 of their 9 points. So now the Fire will have to navigate terrain without her for the time being.
Yeah, someone else is going to have to step up. This is going to be a challenge here for Holy Family.
Berkeley Neibauer missed on the runner. Zediker doesn't have the space to attack. Maroons will run a set, kick out. Julia Moore pulls up, swish. That's one way to beat a defender. Just wait for her to go by you and
That's right.
get her on the misdirection. So Moore's up to 6, and Dowling Catholic up by 2 touchdowns, 23-9.
Oh, tough call.
Holy Family looking for the entry feed, and they draw the foul inside. And they will give. I thought they were giving her the shooting motion for a moment, but nope, side out. Hall wanted the 3. She was cut off. Holy Family swings it around. Now they fired the 3, but it's offline. Sophia Hall almost got the tip. Heller bringing it up. Driving kick out to Ellie Olsen. Now she works her way inside.
Good step through. Very good
Another
step through.
strong penetration move by Dowling Catholic.
Holy Family's going to have to get a timeout here. If they don't get something on the offensive end here, they're going to have to get a timeout. Try to regroup and see if they can get a bucket here.
I believe they've already used 2 of them. Three from the wing is offline.
Good hustle.
Sophie Zay with the hustle play. And the junior keeps it on the Holy Family Catholic side.
Good hustle, good awareness. Good basket cut.
And that will net free throws for Sophia Hall. Sophi Hall will play Providence. Providence College, that is, not the Providence in Plymouth. Next year, so she's headed to the Big East. Enjoys cooking when she's not playing basketball. And she's also in the National Honor Society. And if that wasn't enough, Sophi Hall, also a senior ambassador. She helps with transfer students who come to Holy Family and also helps organize events at the school. She took up a new club this year called Letters of Love, where students make cards and other things for cancer patients.
Very well-rounded young lady.
I think Providence is going to have an exceptional athlete in their ranks. And Providence, they're no stranger to Minnesota athletes. Brianna Edwards, who's now the head coach of Minneapolis North, played her college ball there.
She did.
Runs her own seasoning line now. Here comes Zediker. That time she was cut off, but she finds a kick-out option. And Lauren Frericks. By the way, Jocelyn Land is back out on the floor. Rebound tip to Julia Moore. That was a deflection. You saw one of the sideline officials make the signal, so Zediker took her time to corral it.
Holy Family needs to stop here, Mike.
Zediker didn't get one there, but making the hustle play was Ellie Moeller. It's a dead ball rebound. Moeller, if you're wondering about those hops, played varsity volleyball and led Class 5A in blocks.
Nice.
Volleyball, basketball, and track are the three sports she plays. And you're no stranger to this, Jason, multi-sport athletes. It shows.
It does.
Ava Zediker.
I think we're starting to see less and less of it, but I think it benefits the students, the athletes.
Well, when you look at all the specialization, and we talk about the club circuit as we had a foul on Dowling Catholic loose ball, so free throws for Holy Family here. I know we are seeing more specialization, especially when you have the club circuit, and I know Breakdown and others put together a lot of events outside the winter season, but I do still believe there's a value to playing other sports. How many times have you watched NFL games and you get those receivers or tight ends who can jump up for those loose balls because of their basketball background?
Yeah, I would agree with you, Mike. I think there's great benefit in playing more than one sport. But like you said, Mike, we're starting to see the specialization of every sport. It's not just basketball, it's every sport. And in a sense, I think it may be hurting the sport a little bit. I had a situation this summer with my daughter, one of my daughters, Milani, and she told me, Dad, I just don't want to put that kind of work in order to be as competitive as I need to be. And I said, hey, that's fine. But I think it's starting to push some kids away because kids are spending 4, 5, 6 hours in the gym now improving their skills. Not a bad thing, but again, I think it could be hurting the sport.
Ava Zediker scored the last bucket for Dowling Catholic. She's up to 15. On the other end, we've got free throws coming up for Elin Miller. And to your point, I can understand that because if you don't play, if there's a sport you take up that maybe you're doing it for fun. Like a lot of my friends, Phyllis Webb comes to mind. Basketball was the sport she wanted to excel in, but volleyball was her fun sport, and she called track her suicide sport. But you run into that, and so maybe you have a daughter, or maybe one of you watching this has a kid that takes up basketball, volleyball, or something just for fun, just to keep them loose, but then you have to go up against these club-trained athletes who are quite dynamic, as we're seeing out of Zediker, for example. That can be a tall order because you're going up against somebody who is maybe a peg or two above you on the skill level. Traveling violation, Holy Family Catholic ball. And Kevin Anderson, you may know him, does all the charting, made this observation last year where you're seeing more 7th and 8th graders come up, but it could be pushing away some of those juniors and seniors who, again, maybe aren't looking to play the sport in college, but they want to do it for the camaraderie.
Yeah. Makes it tough on the kids, Mike. I tell you that much. It really makes it tough on them. And I have to be honest with you too, Mike. When my daughter told me that, I commended her for sticking up for herself and not just allowing us as parents to push her in a direction that she didn't want to go. So I commended her for that. And I told her, hey, if you don't want to play at all, I'm fine with that. But she said, I want to play for fun. That's what I want to do. I said, hey, let's do it then.
Well, Zediker playing for fun and playing quite well. This time she picked up the assist. Lauren Frericks, a cross-country and track athlete, knocked down her first 3, still working out her college plans. Now, as I understand it, Dowling Catholic, well, Bishop Garrigan is one of the small schools, Dowling Catholic one of the larger ones. But in the smaller schools, multi-sport participation is almost necessary because of the student body. And even though I don't have kids of my own, I've made it clear I'm not in this to promote myself, so your outcome doesn't dictate my success. I'm just happy to share these stories or at least play a part in it. Ava Zediker is certainly writing up quite the story here with 15 points as Dowling Catholic leads 30-11. Holy Family just struggling to find rhythm offensively. But it goes back to what you're saying, Jason. I think the speed, the contrast between the two, and Holy Family also unable to connect on threes. But Dowling Catholic looks a step quicker.
Yeah, they're just a little bit quicker, Mike. And right now you've got a lot of desperation coming out of Holy Family. They're playing a lot of hero ball right now. You've got people players going one-on-one instead of moving the ball around and getting the best available shot.
Meanwhile, Zediker has back-to-back driving kicks for 3. Marin Heller knocked down the last one. By the way, Heller plays high-level club softball, so basketball is her fun sport from the looks of it.
And she's pretty good at it.
Well, Madden Greenway comes to mind, too. She played varsity soccer for the first time this season, led the entire state in goals.
Oh, wow.
Well, we already knew she was insanely good,
Yeah,
but
she's just an athlete.
she tore up the track scene. I don't know if she'll play today, but you know she's going to be a name people watch later this season.
Yeah, she is an athlete.
Ava Zediker goes to the line. Just a sophomore. And as if I didn't have enough to say about all Iowa attack, the number of players who class up, too, is quite impressive. Usually those senior and junior teams, it's not uncommon to see some freshmen and sophomores class up right away. Makes me wish we could get more Iowa teams up here. Ava Zediker, 17 points. She is still outscoring Holy Family Catholic by herself.
And right now, like I said, Holy Family is they're trying to play hero ball. They're trying to decrease this lead in one possession, and that's just not going to happen.
Dowling, though, they look locked in after a couple of miscues early with the transition game. But as you said, Jason, once you get that figured out, remember it's game 1, so things take a little longer. But once you're locked in, you're on a roll, and Dowling Catholic certainly on one here. Drive and kick. Offensive rebound. Zay with the steal. Will she take it all the way? Yes, she will, and it won't erase the entire deficit, but that could be a momentum-sparking play for Holy Family Catholic.
Yeah, they need something going into halftime here, Mike.
Heller missing the mid-range jumper. Less than a minute in a half dominated by Dowling Catholic. Ava Zediker instrumental in a gigantic first half lead.
At this point, Mike, I think I might hold it for the last shot.
This is the last year you can get away with that, at least with more than 35 seconds anyway, but Dowling Catholic, they have other ideas.
And that's why I was thinking hold it for the last shot. I really don't want to see, if I'm the coach for Holy Family, I really don't want to see Dowling Catholic get another opportunity.
Lauren Frericks came up with the steal there, and Dowling with 23 seconds to do something with it.
Look for Ava to go one-on-one here. Time running out.
That would not surprise me. She's holding it with that swift first step of hers. Nope, she's going to go to Heller instead. Cut down low. Ooh, Zediker, got to get it off. I don't know if that's the play Dowling Catholic wanted to execute at the end of the half, but you can't discredit a sensational first half performance. They lead 35-13. Ava Zediker still outscoring Holy Family Catholic on her own. Before we go to break, Jason, any thoughts on what Holy Family Catholic or Dowling should do?
Well, Dowling, if I were Dowling, I'd keep doing what I'm doing, looking to get out in transition, get those easy buckets. Holy Family, they're really going to have to buckle down on defense, but offensively, they're going to have to start playing as a team and stop playing hero ball.
We'll see what happens when we come back for the second half. You're watching the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off at St. Thomas Academy. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching. Mike Peden and Jason Sandifer with you as we're ready to start the second half. Dowling Catholic leads Holy Family Catholic 35-13. Ava Zediker, a big reason why. 17 points, and I feel like she's run a couple of laps around Holy Family and the rest of us with that impressive speed of hers. Julia Moore has 6. Marion Heller has 5. For Holy Family Catholic, Jocelyn Land has 8, but no one else has more than 2. Holy Family Catholic, they're going to have to find some multiple sources of offense if they want to get back in it.
Yeah, that they are, and they're going to have to stop Dowling as well on the offensive end. If they continue to let them score, it's not going to do them any good if they're getting buckets on the other end.
Maroons will get the ball to start the second half. You know, Caitlin Clark still checks in with the program from time to time. She got to play in this event when it was held at Schoenecker Arena at the other St. Thomas. And I'll never forget, she dropped 39 against De La Salle.
Oh, wow.
So the prologue was there, of course, to see her blossom into the player she's become at Iowa. You never know who's going to turn out. You have an idea sometimes. Paige Beckers comes to mind as Dowling Catholic getting some friendly bounces here. Lauren Frericks drops her second 3.
That's not a good sign for Holy Family.
And we're closing in on a potential mercy rule threshold. Unfortunately, Paige can't play this year with the ACL tear, but some will fit right in. Others kind of surprise you. And it's hard to say what's going to happen between high school, college, and the pros. But that's a play Holy Family needs. Jocelyn Land on the turnaround. But it's always cool to see the players who maybe had the makings of it but weren't circled highly on those prospect lists turn into something special.
Yeah, kind of those under-the-radar players.
Ava Zediker She is on just about everyone's radar. She is certainly not an unsung hero. She's up to 20 after sinking that triple. Back-to-back threes to open the second half for the Maroons. Jocelyn Land with a power move in the lane.
Holy Family's got to get more of that, Mike.
And Dowling Catholic says right back at you. That's Layla Tritton. Another drive for Holy Family Catholic, and whether or not they win this game, you have to like that energetic start of theirs in the second half. They're attacking, and they got 2 buckets and a trip to the free throw line out of it.
Yeah, they've obviously went in halftime and made some adjustments because they've come out very, very aggressive. Still have time to get back into this game as well.
I think the largest comeback I have seen in person was 22 or 23, so Holy Family has a little more work to do. But remember, this is also game 1 out of a possible 32. This is all about making a good first impression. In my morning game, I talked about how that helps you in job interviews, but even for this season, all these teams had a week or so. Dowling Catholic had an additional week of practice. Iowa starts earlier. But for both teams, this is their first game, and you're not going to know what you have and what you need until you get a chance to play against an opponent.
Yeah, it's kind of an assessment, Mike, a preseason assessment here is what it is. And honestly, if I was Holy Family's coach, I wouldn't be too upset over this. Like you said, it kind of gives you an opportunity to gauge where you're at and then figure out what you need to do to be successful moving forward.
And on top of that, you don't have to deal with Dowling Catholic.
No, not again.
Right, because they don't play in our state tournament. They play in Iowa's. And Iowa, they do a terrific job. The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, IG. There's a lot of letters.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. Brooklyn Nybauer has a mouthful of jumpers in her, and she hits the long 2. So Holy Family discovering their location. The IGHSAU and Iowa PBS, they televise all of the girls' state tournaments in the state of Iowa. Zediker with a step-back 3. Bullseye! So it gives you a chance to see some of the top Iowa prospects live free of charge. Jocelyn Land says right back at ya. And even though Dowling Catholic is still up by 22, Kristen Myers calling a timeout anyway. Like you were saying, Jason, if you're Holy Family, you're not really worried about wins or losses, or I wouldn't be. And they're playing loose right now.
They are. Yeah, and I think he called a timeout there, Mike, because he doesn't want to. He wants to emphasize to his girls that we don't want to continue to go back and forth, bucket for bucket. We need to get stopped so we can get ourselves back into this game.
Jocelyn Land, though, remember, had to sit out for a time in the first half, but she has hit 3 buckets to start the second half, up to 15 points, and Ava Zediker, 23. And she's only a sophomore. Again, I'm not going to make any Caitlin Clark comparisons. Well, it's sort of like Paige Beckers. I remember interviewing Addie Mack, who wanted to be the next Paige Beckers, and I certainly understand why when you're an impressionable athlete like Addie is, but...
And Addie's, she's one of those players, too, who's going to blaze their own trail.
Exactly. And I think just focus on your game and the rest will fall into place.
No doubt, Mike, no doubt.
From the look of Zediker, well, and everyone else on Iowa, I should say Dowling Catholic, as Frerick scored on the cut.
Dowling is well coached, very disciplined.
They've got playmakers. They are not a one-trick pony. A 3 on the way is good. That's Layla Tritton, the sophomore. Heller with the dime. And I think Dowling Catholic has regained their bearings.
Just like that, we're back up to a 27-point lead.
Again, though, I think a lot of it has to do with the speed and agility of Dowling Catholic.
And it's on both ends, Mike. It's not just on the offensive end, but they are a good defensive team as well.
Holy Family Catholic on the run. Berkeley Neibauer with the finish. Pump fake on the three. And that is another benefit of speed and agility. Not just to get open on transition, but you saw Layla Tritton use the fake to set up a driving lane, and she'll get free throws out of it.
Yeah, they're playing well, not only in transition, but in half-court offense as well.
Yeah, they look really spry. And I'm sure Dowling Catholic fans will look forward to seeing how they perform later in the season. But it's always cool, and again, because of what Iowa does through the IGHSAU and Iowa PBS to make the state tournament free to watch, it's fun to follow some of these athletes that we get to see here at this Twin Cities tip-off. That's one of the draws. I know the Breakdown Tip-Off Classic, which takes place next weekend, they usually get some out-of-state teams. Bismarck Century is one of them this year. They had Appleton East last year, one of the top programs in Wisconsin.
And I think it's good for these young ladies to see competition from other cities, other states. I know when I was in high school, Mike, we didn't play any, as a matter of fact. We didn't play any out-of-state teams. So I think it's a good opportunity for these kids to see what type of talent is actually out there.
Ava Zediker into the women's line.
And you might run into some of these players. AAU has changed the game. You look at events like Summer Jam and Meltdown that can bring in several top regional and in some case national teams. I got a chance to see Sydney Bowles, who's now at Texas A&M, for example, and Janiyah Barker. Alex Gaskell gets on the board. Get this, Gaskell, another track basketball crossover. Her shuttle hurdle team won a state championship last spring,
nice.
and she was second in the high jump.
Nice. The benefits of multi-sports.
And Gaskell didn't need that high jump of hers to get the block. She just used her lanky frame instead. And now she'll get the finish on the other end. The dime from Zediker. You know what? Gaskell reminds me of Nia Holloway, if you remember her.
Oh, yeah.
Who was a standout track athlete. Of course, she will hopefully play basketball next year when her knee heals. And Layla Tritton with another fast break deuce.
And the assist came from Ava. She makes this team go, Mike.
Zediker, she's got a couple of dimes on kickouts, a couple of dimes in transition. Grace Anseth gets on the board with that right wing triple. But I offer my apologies if you don't think I'm talking enough about this game, because Dowling Catholic is dominating. They've been dominating since, what, 7-6, 7-7?
Somewhere around there, yep.
They're putting on a clinic. But to finish up, Nia Holloway unfortunately injured her knee during summer workouts and won't be able to play for the Gophers this season. Hopefully she'll get back out there, but she won a couple of state championships in the high jump. Frericks for three. At this point, you start to wonder if these shots from Dowling Catholic are heat checks, because everything is going their way just about. If you're following us on the TSB Television YouTube channel, Holy Angels and Hutchinson will follow this game on our coverage slate. And Sophia Hall might want that pass back.
I think so. At this point, if you're Holy Family, you're just looking for something positive to happen, anything.
Well, going back to what you said, though, yeah, it's not fun to be on the receiving end of a butt kicking, but this is the kind of game that can help prepare you later on. Remember, this Holy Family team didn't get a lot of buzz until they beat Minnetonka last season. Land, as I understand it, came in as a junior from another school, but Hall, you've got some pieces here. Again, I think Providence Academy is the favorite in the section, but after what we saw from Holy Family last year, it doesn't take much. If your threes go down, we saw that at state last year. If you shoot well, you look good. If you don't shoot well, you are vulnerable to just about anybody.
And really, Mike, it's about progressing because, again, this is just a preseason assessment. Now, if they can continue to get better, think of it 1% daily, the 1% better daily, I think they can have something on their hands.
I always go for 2%.
2%. I like that number, too. That's a nice number.
It is. And on that note, we'll be back in 2 and 2. Oh, wait, that was Love Connection.
Love Connection. Chuck Woolery.
Yes. Berkeley Neibauer connecting on those free throws. And technically this is a regular season game, but there is no preseason. You get scrimmages, but this isn't like college or the pros where you get a preseason game or two to refine a few things. You pretty much jump right in.
You do. I refer to it as preseason because it's a tournament.
Another assist for Zediker, and Ellie Moeller with her first field goal. We mentioned earlier, led Class 5A in blocks on the volleyball team. And another outlet play ends in a Triton score. Triton up to 12. What's the saying, Jason? You can't coach speed? That's what it feels like if you're watching Dowling Catholic in this game.
That's exactly what it feels like. They're doing what they wanted to do. I'm sure this was their game plan, Mike, was to get out and get some easy transition buckets.
Zay responds on the other end with the drive-in finish. And I don't know how much practice plays into it, but remember, Dowling Catholic had an extra week. Usually they'd have a game or two under their belts by now, and Zediker fires the three and almost got that to drop. Jason, I don't know what you do in the AAU season, but something tells me you might go check out some all-Iowa attack games next year.
Yeah, I will be there.
Now that's a double dribble, one of the rare miscues for Zediker. I think you can shrug that off, though, when you have 23 points and, by my count, 5 assists, maybe more.
And you're up by 29 points as well.
That, too. All right, well, circle the calendar. Summer Jam, Meltdown. That's when all Iowa Attack usually makes a visit up here. Summer Jam, one of my favorites. Grace Anthet's the line. We're not quite at the Mercy Rule threshold. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think shortly we're going to start to see more substitutions. You'll see more starters start to come out of the game.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Grace Anseth is at the line.
Anseth, the freshman, knocks down both free throws. And you like to see this if you're Holy Family Catholic. Yes, the game is out of reach, but they're not folding it in or calling it a day.
Yeah.
Dowling Catholic certainly isn't, as Zediker scores on the baseline cut. Lauren Frerich's playing facilitator that time, but Holy Family Catholic, it goes back to what you were saying. They are not playing with the score in mind.
Yeah, I think it's just an opportunity to really see where they're at, set some goals on where they want to be a month from now, 2 months from now.
Zediker zooming down the court again and hooking up with Frerichs. Well, I think of the Vikings as an example. They got run out of the building on Sunday against Dallas, and then they come back, beat a rising Patriots team. You just never know what happens from one game to the next. And because everyone plays 2 games, if you're on the receiving end of a beatdown, the good news is you can put it out of your mind right away.
Yep, you got an opportunity to redeem yourself, Mike.
Well, Jocelyn Land has certainly redeemed herself, not that she needed any. Up to 17 points on another attack. And that's something Holy Family Catholic, they knew Land was one of their playmakers, and then they get the stop right there on the play by number 11, Lauren Weigel. I think you're going to look at those moments, and the second half is an example of, okay, here's what happens when we do well. And Dowling Catholic showed what they need to do to try to contain quicker teams, because we know Providence Academy, when they're at full strength, Madden Greenway, one of the fastest kids out there.
Yeah, if I had to do a comparison, I would say that Dowling there's a pretty good comparison there between the two teams, Dowling and Providence. Both teams like to use their speed. Both teams like to get out and transition.
Hall missing the floater. Got a little tied up. Now Holy Family brings the pressure.
Yep, got to get it across the line. That's close to a 10 count there.
That was close. Marin Heller. Almost got herself caught there. That can be a daunting sight to see when you're bringing the ball up and you have all those bodies and no one to help you. I can't speak from experience, but I'm guessing those who have would tell you it's a scary sight.
It can be pretty scary.
Lauren Frericks goes along the right side and in for two. Zay draws the foul. And that's the 5th on Moore, so that will be it for her. She'll finish with 6 points. Offensive rebound.
Oh.
Sophia Hall, oh my goodness. She rose up and just tipped it.
That was an athletic
That was a volleyball-like move.
Yeah, it was. It was very athletic.
Well, remember, she's going to Providence next year. D1 athlete. Moore, by the way, unfortunately, her day is done, but I wanted to get this in. She has verbally committed to play soccer at Washington University in St. Louis, so another multi-sport player. Sophia Hall can't get the bounce there. That was Hall's first field goal, by the way, on that last possession for the Fire.
Oh, it's a good backdoor cut.
And earlier we mentioned the section alignment. Holy Family Catholic and Providence are scheduled to play each other February 14th. I think that's fitting.
Yeah.
Section rivals on Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, yeah.
Also known as the bane of broadcasters like myself, because Valentine's Day historically has been one of the tougher days to find crew.
Gotcha. Got to find a lot of single people.
Find a lot, yes.
Yeah.
Jocelyn Land finds the turnaround jumper. She's up to 19.
Good baseline move.
And the baseline finish for Tritton.
No weak side help there.
Tritton's got some confidence, though. She's up to 14.
She does. It's starting to grow as the game goes. And she got the roll.
And Sophia Hall with a couple of nice plays as of late. And this is a team, they had Nicole Bolin last year. She was an honorable mention in Class 2A, playing at Colorado Christian now. So this team having to incorporate some new pieces. But you look at what they've done in the second half, Jason, and again, it may not be enough to get the win, but they're hanging in there. They're not folding up and letting Dowling Catholic run them over.
Not at all. You can see they're starting to get some confidence in the second half, knocking down some shots, being more aggressive on the offensive and defensive end.
It makes you wonder what might have been if they've been able to string this together in the first half. But again, this is game one as Hall lines up the three. Swish! And just like that, Sophi Hall is up to a quick 10. This honestly is encouraging. You had a bad half, but you shook it off, and this could bode well down the road. Again, Holy Family Catholic in the Wright County, so they've got some tough competition from the likes of Orono over there. That's going to be a foul on Land.
And as a coach, Mike, it doesn't matter if you win or lose so much. You want to see your team finish strong, particularly when they don't start strong. You want to make sure that they finish strong. So I think what we're seeing here is a good sign for Holy Family.
Zediker from the key. Yes! Add another tray to her impressive total, 28 points. And she can make an early run for MVP of this invitational.
She's doing that.
We've seen some pretty big performances in the early going. Sam Wills had 26 for visitation, and Zediker goes up to 30 on that sprint to the rim. 30 points to open the season.
Yeah, that's not bad. I think it's about time to pull her, though. I wouldn't want to risk her getting hurt at this point.
It reminds me last year of Madden Greenway, first game of her 8th grade year. I was here for it. She dropped 30. The beginning of a joyous season. Of course, Providence Academy won it all in 2A. Had to sweat out a couple of close ones with Albany and Fergus Falls to do it. Going to the line is Tritton, the sophomore. And even though we're not in running time, we're kind of in stat padding time, I'd say is the best way to describe it. But like you were saying, Jason, you're seeing a lot of encouraging signs out of Holy Family Catholic as far as their second half response. And Dowling Catholic, they're doing what they need to do. And here come the substitutions you were speaking of. So I think Zediker will call it a day with 30 points, several assists. Like I said, there will never be another Caitlin Clark, but I think Dowling Catholic has their next centerpiece. That's, I think, the better way to describe it.
I would agree with you, Mike.
Now, I could be talking out of my rear end because I don't get to see Dowling outside of this invitational. So I could look entirely foolish by the time February or March rolls around, but when you see what Zediker can do, how she influences both sides of the ball, that doesn't come often. By the way, Tritton up to 16 points. She's had herself a nice game. As much as we've talked about Zediker, Tritton has slowly climbed up the scoring chart.
Quietly.
And she's subbed out as well, so I think she'll finish with 16. Grace Anseth at the line, missing the front end of a 1-and-1. And we'll try to get names and numbers of everybody. I think for Holy Family Catholic, as, whoa, Grace Anthem using the window.
The bank is open, Mike.
I've said the backboard's there for a reason. Don't be afraid to use it. Usually that comes for layups, though, not three-pointers, but doesn't matter how they go in as long as they do.
Doesn't matter where you're at on the court, Mike. If you can use that glass, go ahead and use it. It's there for a reason.
Absolutely.
Good hustle save.
Dowling hangs on to it. 3 on the way. Number 33, Macy Harnden, unable to finish. And sets number 25, Elin Miller. Miller got tagged, and she will shoot 2. Well, Jocelyn Land, she finished with a respectable performance, 19 points, and I think we really saw her capabilities in that second half. Sophi Hall had some nice plays, hit a few free throws as well. I think Holy Family Catholic has a higher learning curve than a school like Dowling. How will they get support for Hall and Land? I think that question will be answered over the next several months, but there's reason to think they could pose a challenge again and spring another upset or two like they did last year against Minnetonka.
Yeah, like I said, it's just getting 1% better. You know, it's early in the season. It's kind of hard to tell what you have when you lose a lot of people like this, but you give them a month or two, and I think you're going to see a different team.
And we'll see them at another invitational. Again, they're scheduled to take part in the MLK Fury Classic, and they're also going to host the Community Clash. They've expanded to 2 sites this year, St. Michael Albertville and Holy Family Catholic. Another 3 doesn't fall on the rebound by Kate Buckholtz. As we run out the rest of this game, about 90 seconds to go. A terrific start for Dowling Catholic and a few learning lessons for Holy Family Catholic. But the fire burned bright last year. That's a double dribble. And even though, again, I don't want to compare Zediker to Caitlin Clark, I can't help but notice a parallel where she goes off for 30, racks up a bunch of assists. The first time Caitlin Clark got on my radar was her sophomore year when Dowling Catholic first participated in this event. This tip-off began as a Catholic school-only invite among the Minnesota schools, and over time it's expanded to include, well, Hopkins is in the field this year. That's a big get. And a few other perennials in the sport of basketball. Eastview, Roseville, Anoka has taken up this event, and some newcomers as well. Stewartville joining the field this year. A team to watch in 3A. 30 seconds. Dowling Catholic got on a big run early in the first half, and that was all they needed. Maybe didn't get the ending they wanted in the second half, but Ava Zediker and Layla Tritton among the many contributors who did more than enough. The seconds tick away, and Dowling Catholic completes a wire-to-wire 77-52 win. Jason, this turned into an Ava Zediker salute. I don't want to say roast. It was an Ava Zediker salute, but she came out to play today.
She did. It was tough to stop her in transition. It was tough to stop her in the half court. She is a good all-around athlete. Like I said, she plays on both ends, too. It's not just the offensive end, but she plays great defense as well.
We'll try to get a word with Zediker before we wrap it up for this game. You're watching the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off. The Maroons beat the Fire 77-52. When the high school season is over, TSP Television goes on the highlight trail. Our highlight reels provide you with a valuable resource for recruiters and a keepsake of your favorite athlete. To learn more about our highlight reel services, contact us at tsptelevision@gmail.com. Joining me are Ava Zediker and Layla Tritton. Dowling Catholic, the Maroons victorious over Holy Family Catholic. Ava, we'll start with you. 30 points. You had about 5-6 assists, if not more. We were talking about this during the game. I am not smart enough to make any comparisons to Caitlin Clark, but much like Caitlin did all those years ago, you displayed a tremendous amount of leadership on both sides of the floor. What would you make of your performance today?
You know, I thought I played good. I thought I took it to the hole aggressively. I know like coming up here, we're playing tough competition. So just taking it to the hole strong and just finding open teammates when someone covers me, it's just a big key to this game.
A key in your favor that we observed was your speed and quickness, and it was used to full effect several times in transition, driving kicks. Dowling Catholic just kept on the accelerator, didn't let off. That led to a big run that allowed you to hold off Holy Family Catholic in the first half. How does speed play a part in your identity?
I mean, I'm really fast, so like I'm take that for advantage. Just like trying to be everybody down the court in transition, and then just find the open player when I can.
How much of that do you think comes from your own experience? And then I also know you play for All Iowa Attack. I've seen you on the AAU circuit. All Iowa Attack, one of the top programs in the Hawkeye State. So being around such high-level competition in club and in high school, how do you think that helps refine your game?
I think it helps a lot. I mean, we play fast and for attack. Like, we're always fast-paced, try to push the ball up the court. So I think it really helps out here playing some tough competition.
And one of your beneficiaries was Layla, who received a few of your passes today. Layla, you had maybe a quiet first half by statistical standards, but by the end of the game, you finished with 16 points, so not too shabby yourself. How does someone like Ava help open up things for you?
Great teammate, always looking to pass the ball ahead, and people are obviously double teaming or making sure she's guarded, which gives other people opportunities who Ava's able to find and pass the ball to.
And Ava talked about the tough competition you play. This event, of course, an annual ritual for Dowling Catholic. I know you get to see some faces on the AAU circuit, so playing against competition out of state is nothing new, but what do you gain from a chance to play against a couple of Minnesota teams every year?
I think it's new competition people we're not used to, so we don't know a lot about them. So coming up here, we have to be able to adjust and communicate as a team and figure out what problems we need to solve on the court together.
Sounds like it really tests your improvisational abilities.
Yeah, as a team.
And what do you enjoy most about it? I saw a photo on the bus trip this morning. I know Minnesota isn't the farthest commute from Iowa per se, but what do you enjoy most about getting a chance to participate in an event like this?
Just all the time and friendships you get to hang out with your best friends on the court and make memories outside, which help create stronger bonds on the court.
And for the two of you, as we said, I don't want to make any comparisons on who the next Caitlin Clark is going to be, but you know what she did for this team. You see what she's doing in Iowa. And even though it's been a few years since she wore a Maroons jersey, how is she still with you in terms of spirit or motivation? What has her success done to fuel your aspirations?
Well, she set the mark like pretty high. You know, she came in here, she did a really good job just like showing what Dowling Catholic basketball is all about. Like, she took pride in wearing the Dowling Catholic jersey, so that's what I want to do too.
I agree. She sets a standard. She makes all of us want to live up to her expectation. You don't want to let her down. Live up to her legacy.
Ava, is that why we saw you line up some threes from distance there? Are you working on that now?
I am working on that.
So we're going to see logo threes out of you soon?
We'll see.
Well, you're just a sophomore. You've got some time to work on that range. Before we go, you want to say hi to anybody?
Probably my grandparents at home, my cousins, and all the people watching.
Same, grandparents everywhere, cousins, family.
I'd say that's a pretty good list. You never know. One of them might be James T. Kirk in the future. Iowa is the future birthplace of the Starfleet captain. You just never know. So good to get all the bases covered.
Uh-huh.
Well, Ava Zediker, Layla Tritton, thank you for stopping by. Congrats on the win, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your visit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's Ava Zediker, Layla Tritton, and we'll have more from the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off coming up soon.